Hey, so if you're old or know someone who's old in the hobby, you'll have no doubt heard of the legend that is Warhammer Epic 40,000. It's like regular 40k, but the models are really tiny and the battles are really big. Well, thanks to 3D printing and dodgy PDF scans of old rulebooks, Epic 40k, a game once lost to the 90s, is back in full swing at our club, and I really want to make some terrain for it. This series is all about trying new stuff, so why not use a new material to me? Wood. I can buy it in the right size with nice square edges right off the bat. It's pretty cheap, but the downside is to use it efficiently, I need big tools like this one, a miter saw. That sounds like a dinosaur. A miter saw. A miter saw. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. I actually started this project with foam. It was great for making impressions and carving into, but I was limited to only 2 good impressionable sides. I made the impressions with magnets and screwdriver bits and hand-bent die cutting things, and I felt very smart. But ultimately, it wasn't really the right solution for this project. My plan was to punch out some window details into the wood, but after doing a couple of them, I lost interest, and instead I decided I would paint on my details. After gluing on a whole bunch of detail bits and tiny antennas, which by the way make everything cooler, and these detail bits are from my 3D printable bits kits, I hit the pieces with a gloss spray paint, figuring with some clever masking I could get some sci-fi looking windows with hopefully minimal effort. The masking tape is painter's tape, cut to a 2mm-ish width using my 3D printed balsa stripper, which by the way is an underrated tool and also an underrated video of mine, which you should watch and make one yourself because I use it in just about every project. I mixed a concoction of old Tamiya paints and tile grout. I was hoping this would get me a fine concrete texture, and it 100% did. The mix is awesome, and I was so confident in the mixture that I mixed it directly into the bottle, figuring I would most likely use it again. This was a mistake, however. I came back the following day, and the bottle, instead of the nice consistency I had yesterday, was a weird grey sludge that I couldn't really salvage. Once dry, pulling off the masking tape was very satisfying. I tried to make this process last as long as possible, maybe a little bit too long, but yeah, I really want to just mask more things now so I can take the tape off. I hope you like my heated blanket, by the way. A totally underrated late night working tool. If it was socially acceptable to wear a cloak, I totally would wear one, but until then, I just have a heated blanket like a grandma. I hit everything with a satin varnish and added some oil paints to bring in some color. Right now, it looked very drab, so with some brown oil paints, it really just tied it in with the rest of the environment that will come a bit later on. Then a dust of weathering pigments. I also added a glaze medium to the windows because during this process of pigmenting and oil painting, I lost some of the shine. Okay, time to put these pieces on a base. I'd like to make a little diorama of sorts because I really want to put these on a shelf at our club at some stage, so they can showcase a bit of Warhammer's history as well. I'm gluing on these little tokens of debris and stuff. This was a little experiment I did a little bit earlier on because I wanted to try a mixture of clay and construction adhesive. It totally didn't work and it shrank and cracked and took 3 days to dry, but I don't want to waste my effort, so I'm gluing it onto the base. I'm using modeling compound, which is totally new to me, but it was recommended to me by basically every single one of my friends. This stuff is a game changer, and from my understanding, it's paper fiber and plaster and has a very short working time. It's very, very cool. Very messy, but cool. After a quick paint job, I sprinkled on some Marzi ground cover, which I bought because I really wanted something bright and alien to contrast with the dark buildings, which might be a little bit too close to home, a little bit too city-like that we're used to. So making it distinctly alien, I think, was a good move. And that's honestly really it. These models I'm borrowing are from a good friend of mine, John. Thank you very much for letting me experience a cool world of the hobby way before my time, really. These models are so cool and have so much character, and it actually makes me very jealous I couldn't be a part of the hobby sooner. But because of the internet and awesome technology now, I can't wait to join you on the tiny tabletop with some miniatures of my own. But that will have to wait for another episode. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, bye!